Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to Nadiya Shah's YouTube channel. And I am Natalie Levin of Natalie Levin Astrology. And it is my great honor and privilege to have been asked again to be a guest on Nadiya Shah's channel for the full moon, which is coming up on May 12th. 2025 at 12:56 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's going to be right in the middle of the day. And I would love to let you know that if you are, and you feel free to skip to further along if you're not interested in hearing this part. But if you'd like to work with me one-on-one, you may at natalielevinastrology.com. And all of my links and socials will be linked underneath this video. And I also, if you're interested, if you're in the United States and Canada, I'm able to work with you I'm combining astrology with holistic, trauma-informed financial planning. And it is really amazing and I'm loving it. And for those of you who understand this, my Saturn, which is my work, is in the 10th house, which is career, and it's in Taurus, which is money. It's also the voice, and I am an opera singer. Taurus rules the voice, so I'm an opera singer as well. So I'm so excited for all of this new subject matter in my life and fodder, and I can't wait to be of service to you all in this way. And now I'm going to talk a bit about the chart for the full moon in Scorpio that is happening again on the 12th of May at 12:56 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I invite you also, when you're listening to me, to keep in mind that when I'm looking at the chart for this full moon, that I'm seeing it through the veil of my experience in this lifetime. So if it doesn't match for you, you get to let it go. You get to take what you like and leave the rest about what I say. And I also invite you to know that as I'm beginning to talk about the chart, I'm going to, because when our spirits are not in our bodies, there's no past, present, or future. So I'm going to invite in right now, even though you're listening to this a few days later, I'm inviting in every single being who is listening to this video and watching this video. I give thanks that all of the highest, purest iteration of your spirit team, our most well-heeled ancestors, our archangels, our ascended masters are all here with us right now. And they're here to support us. And I also give thanks to them all that because when our spirits are not in our bodies, we are able to lean into the fact that we contain all of the nebulae, all of the solar systems, all of the universes, all of the galaxies, all of the dimensions, and all of the timelines all at once. Because we are able to lean into that when we're not in our bodies, I give thanks that we are all able to call that in now while we're actually incarnate in our bodies, and remember that we contain all of these infinite possibilities, and therefore we are able to call in right now the highest, purest iteration of our most abundant, and I'm going to include relationships, love, finances, health, into this word of abundance. I give thanks that, and I'm leaning into the North Node in Pisces for all of us also. I give thanks that we are all living the highest, purest iteration of our most abundant, most divine, and most benevolent timeline. I give thanks that we are all divinely led and divinely protected. Amen. And so it is. Okay, and here are all our supports. And listen, the North Node for all of us is in Pisces right now, and Pisces is connection to spirit. If nothing else, if I can't remember anything else during the day, it's okay, can I connect to spirit? Can I connect to spirit? Can I connect to spirit? What does that look like? Can I pray? Can I pray? Can I pray? Can I invite in the energy of I'm connecting to the all that is, because for all of us right now, we are having the North Node for all of us in Pisces, and that is an amazing invitation to step into connection to spirit. I'm gonna pause this for 1 second because I'm chilly. Oh no, wait, I don't want to stop the recording. No, I don't. I want to pause it. Okay, there we go. It's better. It's cold. I had to put a coat on. Burr. So Monday the 12th of May at 12:56 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when this full moon is going to be landing. And when I'm looking at the chart for this full moon, some things that bubble up for me is, first of all, to remember again that the North Node for all of us is in the sign of Pisces, as I just was talking about. We also are having Pluto will be, I feel like we might be starting to feel him move slightly off of his station from retrograde, because let me tell you, this Pluto retrograde station, the station that happened, when did he station? Let me pause and let you know this. Hold on. He stopped on May 4th. And what I can tell you about that for me is I am like, oh my gosh, it's really, and he's also sitting right on my Venus. So he's at 3 degrees of Venus and he is just hanging out and he's like, oh, this is nice. Just being still. It's not, I want to honor that it's not super comfortable for a lot of people. Also, because with the Pluto station, this is the context for which we're feeling this full moon. This Pluto station is loudly talking to this get up and go energy that Venus and Neptune, I know that this past weekend, like the weekend of May 3rd and 4th, I had a lot of energy for get up and go. And Venus had just entered Aries. We have Neptune in Aries. Mercury was in Aries. Mercury's not in Aries anymore. And it felt like, okay, there's so much fire. I can get up and go. I can get up and go and do. And then all of a sudden, phew, everything came to a halt, which felt like on this past Monday, Monday the 5th of May. And oh, a hawk just flew by as I was saying that. Hello. And butterflies. Okay, I feel like the spirits are supporting us in this. The moon ended up going into Virgo at that time, which was Earth, and then we have the sun in Earth, which is like mud and sand. This is the tectonic plates of the mutable Earth that Virgo is going like this, and sand pouring through our hands, and then the mud of Taurus. So all the fire is picture pouring mud onto a fire, and the fire was like, and so I know that for me and for a lot of people, they were like, why am I so exhausted? Why am I so tired this week? And we're leading up still. There's now Mercury, instead of being in a fire sign for the full moon, he is in Taurus, and he is squaring on this full moon, squaring Pluto. So I invite you to keep in mind that when you're leading up to the days approaching this full moon, and I do really feel like we're still feeling this Pluto station in this full moon energy, because when an outer planet stations, and Pluto is an outer planet, he's the furthest away from the sun, he takes the longest time to circle the sun, we feel it for a really long, many days, because it's so far away from us that it's like, instead of it being, if this isn't the sun, if the microphone is my sun, is the sun, and this is Mercury's like this, and then Saturn's a little slower, and then we have Neptune and Uranus, and then all the way out here is Pluto being like, whoa, like really slow. This is making me want to do this. I feel like I just want to hold this up while I'm recording because it matches me. Wait. Here we go. There we go. What if I record this like this? This is very North Node in Pisces. There we go. So, if you are feeling slow and stuck and heavy and like you can't move and you're like, what is going on? And also because Pluto is the ruling planet of Scorpio, and the full moon is going to be in Scorpio, it makes sense to me that like there's an invitation. Where can you find some levity here? Is it possible? Like this is bringing bring me some levity. So do you have anywhere that you can bring some levity to yourself during this time? I also am finding a wonderful, like some really, really funny reels also are helping me to bring some levity because this is a heavy time. This is a heavy, astrologically, it can feel really heavy and incredibly alchemical. This full moon is also going to be trining the North Node in Pisces. So there's so much. If you are someone who's like, oh, psychic abilities are BS, and oh, there's not really a connection to spirit, I just listen to astrology because it's like science, I would invite you to, could you possibly allow in the idea that it's even like the planets are alive and they're talking to us? Could you allow in this idea that actually, when I see the numbers 111 or 222 or 777, the angels are actually saying hi and they're winking to you? What would that be like? You're very supported with this full moon in doing that. I feel like, I don't know, it's making me feel like I want to laugh, this full moon, because it's so intense and there is an energy involved of let's break up, because Uranus is conjunct the sun during this full moon. So Uranus is like, I'm going to explode that. Uranus says, yeah, you're stuck in that thought system. You're stuck in that obsession of this is really hard. Everything's really hard. And I'm going to come in and lightning bolt that. And I'm going to wake you up and say, you know what? Actually, here's some mirth. Or this is so absurd. This with and I also, as Uranus conjunct the sun, I'm going to invite you also to, when you feel like you want to say something and it's going to come out in an octave that's not supportive of you, or you're owning your worth, I'm going to give you a little zap, a lightning bolt, and say, hey, whoa, hold on. Remember how incredible you are. Remember your worth, Mercury and Taurus. Can you actually speak? So for me, one of the things that I'm doing to really honor my worth when I'm communicating is trying to release the word just. So if I'm talking to you and I say, oh, hi, I'm just calling to say hello. Instead, what would it be like if I were to say, hi, I'm calling to say hello? Can you notice how the way you speak shifts or changes by releasing the just? Or, oh, I was just sitting over here like doing nothing. Instead, oh, I was sitting over here doing nothing. Like, I am just brings in some sort of an apology for my existence, as opposed to, I am doing this. I'm just waiting here till my career takes off. No. If I take the just out, I'm waiting till my career takes off. And then it invites me to look and see, wait a minute. Why am I waiting for my career to take off? Why not act as if it's already so that I send out the signal that I am worthy? Because again, with this Mercury in Taurus squaring Pluto, there's a tension there, a tension of, this is for this full moon, of, oh, am I actually really worthy? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You are worthy to take up space. You are worthy simply because you exist. And so what would it be like to let others see that? We have Pluto, we have the full moon also conjunct in this conjunct Juno. So there's this invitation. It could be that there's some sort of a partnership that bubbles up in this full moon time. Like, oh, this person is looking really interesting to me as someone with whom to work. And I'm curious. I'm going to reach out and say, would you be open to this? Or it can be a surprise, someone coming along that is a surprise, really lovely person for you to work with. Or it could be romantic as well. That's also bubbling up for me around this full moon. We have the energy of Jupiter in Gemini for this full moon. And if you are someone who has been considering, what would it be like for me to make a video or practice making a reel every day, or practice or write a blog for my own self, or create a Substack? The alchemical transformation quality of the full moon is supporting you in allowing yourself to sit in the center of the fire, the alchemical fire, and allow what is not serving you anymore to be burnt away. Like when they burn, sometimes around here, they'll burn the land so that it can grow more verdantly. when after they burn it, and that is what has happened in a beautiful preserve in which I take walks. So maybe there with this full moon there could be a burning away of in some sort of alchemical soup of what is not serving you and what needs to die so that you can step into, I am here to communicate. I'm here to let you all know, like, this is what it's like to be in my skin. When you hear my story, what happens to you? What gets catalyzed? What gets inspired? With this Neptune energy, Neptune in Aries for the first time in most of our lifetimes, unless you have lived longer than like 140 years, which I'm not going to say is not possible. We have the ability to dream and imagine and possibly put into action all these dreams and imaginations that we've been having for a long time. Now we can get to put them into action with the energy of Neptune in Aries, and also Saturn is about to move into Aries on May 25th. So we're feeling that energy of this buildup during this full moon of Saturn being about to move into Aries. Whew, my goodness. Okay. How does that land? I'd love to hear in the comments how this lands, like when I channel the astrology, when I channel the planets. And I also am now going to go into sign by sign, what is bubbling up around each astrology sign for you from me through the channel that is me, bringing the planets, stars, galaxies, solar systems, your guides and angels and my guides and angels all together to, and then I will bring through whatever is coming through for me. I'm going to pause it for 1 second and readjust my position. Okay, my beautiful beings. I have my art, my sequin art next to us to support us in having some mirth and levity. There we go. That's good. I invite you to keep in mind when I'm talking about each astrology sign that I'm talking about the rising sign and the sun sign of these signs that I'm going to go through now for how the full moon is landing. And again, I invite you to keep in mind if it doesn't land for you, if it doesn't resonate, let it go. Let it go, let it go. It doesn't have to match, you know. You like that? We have Aries, Aries rising and Aries sun. Aries rising and Aries sun. This full moon for you is landing in, how exciting, your 8th house. The 8th house is related to sex, death, other people's money, taxes, inheritances, life insurance. If you are working, I'm going to throw in if you're working with any sort of, if you don't have life insurance and you are like, what is that all about? I have information for you. It's really, I won't talk about it on here, but it's pretty great. This is a really powerful full moon for you because, I also just heard my Philadelphia accent, because you have the full moon in Scorpio in its favorite house. So I feel like this is really helpful and supportive for you, Aries, Aries rising, to harness the power of, because Mars is the ancient ruler of Scorpio, and Mars is your modern ruler. Mars is your ruler as an Aries. And so it's a lot of Martian energy. It feels like an invitation for you to do a lot of get up and go and let's make things happen. And also if you're like, oh, I've been really trying to get it together to do more communicating with people, or there's people I haven't, or people that maybe feel like siblings. It could be actual siblings, or it could be people who are like soul siblings. Oh my gosh, that made an earthquake happen on my soul siblings. I would invite you to use this full moon to possibly reach out to those people. Like, hey, we haven't talked for a while, and there's a full moon in Scorpio, and it's activating my sibling area of my chart for soul sibling is being activated, and I'm being invited to do something different with this full moon, because you don't have to say all this to the person, but because Uranus is conjunct the sun, and so I'm being invited to really shake up at the most profound level the ways that I've been doing things up until now, and I also, as an Aries rising, am also being deeply invited to, if I haven't already, dive into more structures and systems around how I connect to spirit, how I connect to the all that is. If I don't already pray, what would it look like for me to give it a whirl and see what it feels like? You have a lot of support for birthing new, let me, how do I say this? With this full moon, like I am an Aries rising, and I am being invited to gestate and develop and then birth new psychic life. And it can also be children. So this would be a full moon Aries rising, where if you are not wanting to get pregnant, I would take measures to make sure that doesn't happen with this full moon. It feels like it would be very like, oh, hey, I'm a spirit looking to come into your womb portal. This is the perfect time. So I would invite you to use precaution if you are like, I don't really actually want to have a being come into my womb portal at this time. Aries rising. I also invite you to simply pay attention, since it's 11:11 here on the East Coast of the United States right now. I invite you to pay attention if you feel like some really strong, fiery words are about to come out of your mouth or onto paper or in a text. Can you give yourself 1, 2, or even 5 minutes before writing them or saying them and see if that impulse to speak that or write it shifts and changes? Because it can be, the words can damage with, it can be a damaging expression right now with Mercury and Taurus squaring Pluto stationed. So yeah, that would be something I would invite you to consider. And I'm so excited for you. I feel like you're on the verge of Aries rising. You're on the verge of a really, really new and incredible time in your lives. And I am so excited to see what happens to all my Aries rising friends. I'd love to hear how this lands for you, Aries rising, and I invite you to let me know in the comments. Taurus and Taurus rising. This full moon is in your 7th house. The house of relationships, the house of contractual relationships. Oh my God, you guys, I'm just gonna like keep going. Contractual relationships, soul contracts, and so for you, also marriage. So for you, Taurus rising, I'm wondering, if you are in a marriage right now, there could be an opportunity for transformation and change in the marriage. I know it can also be that like an awakening. It's like it can be, so if it's not just marriage and it's contractual relationships, like if I am a Taurus rising, maybe I am in a relationship with someone who's paying me for a service. Maybe there's some sort of awakening or shift or earthquake that happens that makes me want to change the way I'm working with you. And I am going to invite you to come into that realm with me, even though as a Taurus rising, I don't necessarily enjoy making changes very much. I'm so supported right now in waking up and doing things differently with Uranus conjunct the sun in my 2nd house that I'm going to really, it could even be that if you take this opportunity, whatever is presenting itself, that the energy of abundance, and I'm going to count finances in that abundance realm, could start to bubble in a contractual relationship way. Because of the fact that the sun and Uranus are conjunct in the sign of finances and also in the sign of what rules the voice. So if you are a Taurus rising and you feel like you haven't been able to find your voice, or you feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know what it is. I simply feel like that my throat chakra is stifled. Can you imagine with this full moon energy that we're in, I like to say about 3 or 4 days before and 3 or 4 days after the full moon. Can you imagine that lightning has come and activated your throat chakra and now it's awakening and you're like, I am going to practice speaking my truth. I am going to practice speaking and perhaps take the energy of Scorpio, which is Pluto. Pluto rules Scorpio, taking that power and leaning into the fact that I, it is safe for me to be powerful. I know how to be powerful in a loving way that is supportive of myself and others. What does that look like for you, Taurus and Taurus rising? Is that landing? And you also, Taurus rising right now are having, I invite you to stay thoughtful and conscious about the words that maybe want to bubble up and out of your mouth right now. And again, can you invite them? There's a helpful acronym that I use called WAIT. Why am I talking? And when I use the word wait, why am I talking? Sometimes it simply invites me to know that I don't actually have to say anything else. I can simply sit in the silence and allow there to be space and time around my thoughts. And I don't have to fill anything up with words. Also, with this full moon in Scorpio, Taurus rising, I feel like the acronym PAUSE, postpone action until serenity emerges. I got it. Postpone action until serenity emerges. Taurus rising. That also might be, I invite you to notice if you're feeling like this is an emergency, I have to do this right now. And if that happens for you, you get to release that and remember that a big emotion is not necessarily an emergency. It feels like this full moon for you, Taurus rising, might bring up a lot of different emotions. A big emotion is not necessarily an emergency. And I'm going to release. Maybe take 3 big breaths. Maybe a yawn will come, and then you can land back in what you thought you had to say and see if you still feel like it's as emergent as it was. How does this land for you? I'd love to hear Taurus rising. You can let me know in the comments. Gemini and Gemini rising. This full moon for you is in your 6th house of health and your daily life and daily routine and your craft, like your vocation. It's not necessarily how you are making money. It's more what is my craft? What am I doing to that I really love and I do even when I'm not getting paid. And it can be something for which you're paid, and it doesn't necessarily have to be. Your Gemini rising, you're having a lot of awakening energy right now in the area of your chart that's around how do I connect with spirit? What does that look like? It might have been changing all the way back since 2018, 2019 of like, wow, whoa, I'm waking up. It's perhaps, yeah, that's making me remember one of my friends. A friend of mine who's a Gemini rising with when Uranus went into Taurus about 2018, 2019, that was a lot of energy to channel in the 12th house for all Tauruses and Taurus rising. So excuse me, for all Geminis and Gemini rising. So for you, Gemini risings, if you've been having a really interesting time since 2018, 2019, and if you've been having it's been feeling like you're more anxious than you had remembered being, and it's hard for you to remember how to ground into your bodies, being such an air sign and so cerebral with all of that Gemini energy. Again, what would it be like? I don't know if you know yoga poses, but to perhaps lie in child's pose with your forehead on your hands or a pillow to let I'm getting this image for this full moon, to let because the full moon is landing in the sixth house for you, which is ruled by Mercury, and so it's even more mercurial energy, even though it's in a fixed sign. So if I'm a Gemini rising, it might be that my mind is really active right now. And so I'm getting this image of letting my frontal lobe of my brain rest into the skull, like the front of the skull, and then rest on my hands in some sort of a position like on the floor so that you ground the energy down. Does that resound for you, Gemini rising? It feels like this full moon is a lot of powerful and intense energy for you. And maybe there can even be, I have started leaning into this. My progressed moon is in Gemini, and I'm inviting myself to be more public about how I am using words, Gemini, to connect to spirit, prayer. And Gemini rising, you have Pisces right now. I mean, if we're doing this deductive way of looking at the chart, your career area of your chart is in the sign of Pisces, and there's an invitation for you to be more young about your connection to spirit. Like, can I take some steps? I don't know, if I'm moving my body and that is how I'm connecting to all that is. If I'm a Gemini rising, can I use this energy also? Yeah, you have Mars in your third house right now, Gemini rising. So communicating with vigorous, either spirit or movement of your body with the all that is. It feels like you're really supported to do that. If that calls you, if you feel like it resounds for you, I wonder what it would feel like to try that. I'd love to hear how this lands for you, Gemini and Gemini rising. Thank you so much. Cancer and Cancer rising. This full moon for you is landing in your fifth house. Yay! I'm glad for this because I'm a Cancer rising. The fifth house is the house of creative projects, of children, of you're bursting forth with creative libido. So the invitation here, Cancer rising, is to allow yourself, if some sort of artistic expression, maybe you want to dye your hair rainbow colors. I know that usually Cancer risings don't usually do that. Maybe you want to do some sequin art. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? It's so pretty. Maybe you are gestating a new creative process that it wants to be born and you simply haven't birthed it yet. What would that look like? So you're supported in doing that. You're supported in diving into the deepest realms. Maybe it's you sitting for a quiet meditation session for like 25 minutes with the intention of, I am going to invite my psyche, which is the Greek word for soul, to dive into the deepest realms of my being and excavate from even down into Mother Gaia, into the center of this gorgeous living planet. I'm going to excavate some treasure that I haven't seen or danced with yet, and I'm going to bring it up to the surface, and then I'm going to use the energy of the fact that I, as a Cancer rising, have, oh, okay, this makes sense. Yeah, it's Aries energy in the area of my chart that is around me in the public eye, me being seen, fresh starts, new beginnings. And maybe with this new creative energy bubbling up from the center of Mother Gaia, I'm going to allow myself to put it into action in some way. And I don't even know what that looks like. Like, if you happen to be someone who is on social media and you use it as a way to express yourself, maybe it's simply, I'm going to start talking, I love donuts with chocolate icing and sprinkles on them. So I'm going to start making videos about how much I love donuts with chocolate icing and sprinkles. And I'm going to simply talk about that as a way for me to express my creative libido. And I'm going to invite myself to do it impulsively, Aries in the 10th house with this full moon, and use the Scorpio warrior / like alchemical transformative energy of this full moon to release any concerns that I might have, which is not easy for Cancer rising, Cancer sun. I'm going to release any concerns I might have about what other people are going to think about me. How about that? Teddy says yes. You say yes to that? Yeah? You want to be on camera? I love her. She's so great. Say yes. Cancer rising and Cancer suns. You also, if you can, maybe move your bodies a bit during this full moon time. And the reason I'm saying that is you have Mars, the planet of get up and go, in Leo, which, and in the second house, which is like, I'm going to get up and start moving. I'm going to move my body. I'm going to use, for me, I'm going to like invite myself to try to do a yoga practice around this full moon. A fiery one, because the full moon is Cancer, Cancer risings, your water sign. The full moon is in Taurus, which is earth and water make mud. So if you're feeling heavy and dense, Cancer, Cancer risings on this full moon, can you invite in the idea that, okay, if I move my body and get, even if it's taking a walk, even if it's like jumping up and down, doing some jumping jacks in your house. I almost just kissed the microphone. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. This is very, I have a Cancer rising and I have a Cancer moon. So this is my baby. Yeah. And Cancer, Cancer rising. Also, I want to invite you to know that you're having so much opportunity for alchemical transformation right now. Okay. With Pluto, said he doesn't want to do any alchemical transformation. With Pluto in your 8th house. So saying that out loud made me have a yawn because it's a big energy that you're working with. So I invite you to, after you move your body, create some space for you to also have some downtime, some rest. That's also bubbling up for me. How does this land for you, Cancer, Cancer rising? I'd love to hear. I'm going to pause. Leo and Leo rising. First of all, thank you for existing. And I'm imagining that you're like, you're welcome. I want to cheer you on. I'm so glad you came into your bodies. You really am. I enjoy you. I enjoy you very much. And Leo, Leo rising, you're having Mars in your sign right now, which is it. I would invite you to watch out for anger. Oh my God. Wait, that's making me think of, wait, hold on. I need to look at something. I happen to know someone who has Mars sitting on her head right now. She's one of my dearest friends. And she's been saying, I'm so angry, I'm so angry. And I just realized, oh my gosh, of course you are. Mars is sitting on your head. Oh my goddess. So I really, if you're an Aries, Aries rising, I invite you to take some breaths during this full moon. Take some breaths, take some big breaths. Because it's so much energy that you're channeling right now. Aries, Aries rise. I mean, Leo, Leo rising. It's a lot of fire. It's a lot of fire. And you're also having Venus trining Mars, which is nice, actually. And this is happening. This full moon is on the 12th. So I want to also honor that you might not, maybe the anger has started to fade away. I'm not sure. And Leo, Leo rising. This full moon for you is in your 4th house of your home. Oh, how interesting. Like it's like my home and what is going to be my home and how do I want to look at what is my home going to am I having some transformative energy in the home, and it can be around taxes, inheritances, other people's money because it's in the sign of Scorpio. So I invite you, Leo and Leo rising, to remember that you are the energy of the sun, and the sun can contain 1.3 million planet Earth. That's a lot of energy. And so, can you bring in that knowing and awareness and consciousness into, if you are having challenges, if things feel difficult, can you bring in, okay, wait, I actually am shining with the energy of 1.3 million planet Earths. And how do I want, that's making my, oh my gosh, you guys, talking about that made my ear start to burn and be 5 million degrees. I'm not kidding. It's my right ear. Look at it. It just turned beet red. It just turned beet red as I'm talking about you, Leos. Oh my gosh. You guys, you're having so much fire. It's not this side, it's this side. Ah, my ear is so hot. What the hell? Okay, I hear you, angels and guides. I hear what it's like to have that Leo fire right now, and this moon is making a square, a T square with your chart, with your sun and rising sign, possibly, depending on what degree your sun and rising are. The full moon is at 22 degrees, by the way. Oh my gosh. And another thing that you're having Leos and Leo risings is, can I dive into the realms of connection to spirit and invite, because of your eighth house in Pisces is being supported with Saturn and the North Node in it right now. So it's, can I allow Saturn, the teacher, the guru, the inner guru, my inner guru, to give me guides and ideas and systems that I would like to inhabit as I am creating structures around my connection to spirit, my connection to the all that is. Okay, okay, Leo risings. I have to stop your section right now because my ear is blasting off. What is happening? Okay, Virgo and Virgo rising. I'm hoping that being in the earth sign of you will calm my ear burning down from the Leo part. Jeez Louise. This full moon for you, Virgo rising, is happening in oh my gosh, the third house. The third house of your communication, the way your mind works, your siblings, your neighborhood, short journeys. So I don't know if Virgo rising, you're like, oh, I'd like to go on a journey. I feel like this full moon is happening on a Monday. So maybe you had a journey over the weekend. Maybe you are planning a journey, a short journey, not far, maybe like 2 hours away or something. I don't know. Is that something that's up for you? And you're also having an awakening energy, a wake up and like, let's do this. Maybe it's a sudden stroke of genius around something that you want to teach or you want to learn. It's like, oh, suddenly, boom, I've always wanted to learn about botany. And I am feeling as a Virgo rising that I want to go and take a botany class or learn how to garden or take some classes or watch some videos about how to grow these beautiful African violets that are speaking to me so loudly. Maybe if it's Virgo rising, I also, because this full moon of alchemy, of power, of could be new beginnings, seeds planted of, I'm going to go out and actually start to talk to the plants and the trees. What would that feel like for me as a Virgo rising? Do I actually want to also invite in, because Pluto is in my house of health at this time, could I bring in some new potent ways of connecting in with my daily life and daily routine, and what does that want to look like? Can I actually allow in that I might be about to step into my power in terms of my vocation and what I enjoy and what feels like my daily routine and daily life? I'm being invited actually for like the next 20 years as a Virgo rising to take control and be in the power, empowered around my health. Um, hmm. You also, Virgo rising, are very supported if you want to be more public about your communication and what it looks like for you to communicate with everybody. Like if you've been waiting to, if you've been like, oh, I want to start a YouTube channel. I don't know. I started mine like 5 or 6 years ago, and now I have 1,300 people who follow me. And compared to other people, like Nadiya Shah has, I think, almost 200,000. And it's like one video at a time. Slow and steady wins the race. Virgo, Virgo rising. Now would be the time you'd be very supported in being like, okay, I'm going to give it a whirl. Let's see what happens. I'm going to go on and talk about my love of botany and what I'm learning and how, and there will be possibly, there is, as your signal grows louder, Virgo, Virgo rising, your people will find you, which is really nice. And I invite you to know that you are having a lot of awakening energy yourself as a teacher for others. Like, oh, if people are in my presence, they might feel like, oh, wow, I didn't think about that before. And now they get to have this new way of seeing things that they didn't have access to before. And that can be an amazing gift. How does this land for you, Virgo, Virgo rising? I'm so curious. Pause. Libra and Libra rising. This full moon for you is in your second house of your physical incarnation, the house you're living in, your physical home, your finances. And I wonder if something is happening for you regarding finances. Is there some sort of a shift or change that's happening? Is there some sort of, you're also having an awakening energy in the house of creative, not creative, like psychic abilities, Libra, Libra rising. How is it for you to dive into? I am deeply psychic. I have to take this off now. I'm getting warm. Other people's money, planting seeds. There's an awakening also around ancestry. Is the way I have learned to be in the world that I inherited from my ancestors, is that still working for me? Do I want to do some alchemical work, which could be like I'm looking at the shadows? I just pulled a piece of cat litter out of my pants around the knee. This is very like eighth house, which is I pulled a piece of shit. Am I allowed to say that on here? Out of my pants around the knee. It's not really poop, but so for Libra, Libra rising, where is there some very fertile, fecund matter in the realm of your chart, in the realm of your life that is around ancestral myths that you've been fed around finances and other people's money and how they work? And is there something you want to release and let be lightning bolted away? Like, oh, I'm going to release that. This does not serve me anymore. It doesn't fit me anymore. Whew, whew, I'm letting it go. I'm also going to step more as a Libra, Libra rising into my power, because sometimes I'm so worried about what everyone else is feeling, and I'm so concerned with creating harmony that I forget that actually my wishes, my needs, my wants are also important. And I am inviting myself with this full moon to step into my power in like a really profound, deep way that helps me to feel more stable, that helps me to feel more like I'm taking the next step after the next step after the next step. To do the next right thing in terms of creating stability for myself, and not maybe being so interested in what everyone else needs and wants that I lose myself in the process. How does that feel for you? You're also getting new energy, new wind, Libra, Libra rising in the area of your chart that's contractual and weddings, marriages. So if I'm a Libra, Libra rising, is the way I am working in this soul contract also supportive of me keeping the focus on myself? Am I able to do that? What does that look like? Can I dance in with, okay, it is being healthfully selfish is actually a thing. Like I can actually say, what do I need? What do I want? What do I feel right now? And with the power of this full moon, it feels like a potent energy for you to lean into releasing what is not serving you from ancestral seeds that have been planted, and stepping into something new in terms of how you relate both to yourself and to other people. Amen. How does that land, Libra, Libra rising? Scorpio and Scorpio rising. This full moon is in your first house. First house. First house. That means you are getting invited. Scorpio rising, you're getting invited to check in with the realms of what are my basic needs and basic wants. Not even wants, like how am I? What is it like to be if I'm a Scorpio? If I'm a Scorpio and Scorpio rising named Jane, what is it like to be me as Jane right now? How am I feeling at the very base of myself? Is there anyone in my life that I feel like I can share what it's like to be in my skin with? Like, do I have, as a Scorpio rising, a trusted person or persons that I actually am open to sharing what it's like to be me in? And like, can it be someone that it's safe for you to say, hey, I am amazing and I'm really good at this. And I'm starting to lean into that I am being invited to be at home even more in my own skin and step into my power. And if people get activated by me and are triggered by my existence, that is not necessarily anything that I am doing that is wrong as a Scorpio rising. It is perhaps part of my incarnation here is to be a transformative experience when people are in my presence. So simply being in my presence as a Scorpio rising is a transformative experience. I'm being invited with this full moon to dive even more with more vim and vigor if I want to expressing art, gestating new creative projects. Do I want to create some sort of a system for myself around how I do that? What does that look like? Am I like wanting to set up once a week a date with myself for an hour in which I do anything I want that is creative? It could be dancing, it could be singing, it could be writing, it could be me going into meditative states to connect with the all that is, and I'm going to call that art. So there's that, Scorpio rising. There's also, you are having an energy of change and awakening in your relationship area of your chart, your long-term relationships area of your chart. So if you are feeling like the long-term relationships that you're in right now are something, maybe one or two of them is like, oh, is this still working for me? Do I want to bring new ingredients into our connection? Do I want to be able to talk to you in new ways and bring in fresh wind? Not wind, but like lightning. This is a time to maybe have a conversation like that. Like, hey, hey, Jack, I really love the way we work together. And I wonder, would you be open to my coming up with the idea next time of how we're going to do blah, 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 blah. It could be that in contractual relationships. I also invite you, Scorpio rising, to know that your career area of your chart is very lit up with energy right now with Mars in Leo in the career area of your chart. If there's some sort of big move that you've been hesitating to make, you're supported right now in being big and seen with the energy of 1.3 million planet Earths, because that's how many Earths can fit into the sun. And your career area of your chart is in Leo at this time, Scorpio rising, and Mars is there. Also, you're supported if you want to do some writing about like your most profound, deepest parts of yourself, perhaps writing about it or speaking about it, which you probably aren't drawn to do very much as a Scorpio. Maybe writing about it simply for yourself could be you're supported to do that right now if it calls you. Ooh, I made my nose itch. How does that land with you, Scorpio rising? I'd love to know in the comments. Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising. This full moon for you is in your 10th house, which is the house of you connecting to the all that is. Here I am as a Sagittarius rising. Sagittarius energy can tend to be very ebullient and optimistic, and this full moon is inviting you to check in and see, do I ever slow down enough as a Sagittarius rising to actually to allow in time to connect with the all that is? What does that look like for me? Do I want to allow in an energy, even though I, as a Sagittarian, Sagittarius rising, am mutable fire? So picture that I'm embers on my hand and I blow them and they sparkle out into the world. Or as a Sag rising, I'm also the energy of starlight. I'm the energy of glitter flying into the air. Perhaps there also can be a more steady energy with this full moon for you to, because it's landing in your 10th house, and the 10th house for me is, well, it's the Pisces house. It's the house of connecting to all that is and connecting to what it's like to be in everyone else's skin. What does it feel like to possibly pause Sag and Sag rising and be like, okay, what is it like to be in Aunt Mary's skin right now? What might that feel like for her? How can I bring the energy of deep feeling, Scorpio, to humanity, 12th house? Do I also want to shake up with this full moon? Do I want to shake up or bring in a new energy into my area of my chart that's around my daily life? Is my daily routine still working for me? Do I want to bring in something new? Do I want to bring in a stroke of genius, like, oh my gosh, if I simply put all my clutter away, this would be for me. If I simply put all my clutter away, I might actually have a much more like easeful time in my house. So that could be something that's coming up for me. I'm not a Sag or Sag rising, but I do have 3 planets in Sagittarius. You're supported, Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising, in having conversations right now and being able to access your words, like to slow down perhaps so that you have choice around your words instead of your words just coming out like a diarrhea, which Sagittarius energy can be rather blunt. So here's an invitation. Okay, I'm going to simply allow myself to pause for a moment and let the fixed energy of this full moon in Scorpio and Taurus, I'm going to invite that to hold me tenderly as I breathe and really check in. Do I actually want to say what is about to come out of my mouth? What is it serving? Why am I talking? Practice wait, W-A-I-T. Why am I talking? And see what happens. What more is revealed and how many more options you have when you give yourself the gift of a pause. How does that land for you, Sag and Sag rising? Capricorn and Capricorn rising. This full moon for you is in your 11th house. That is around you connecting with your families, not families, friends, communities, and groups. And so I wonder, Capricorns and Capricorn risings, have you been giving yourself the gift of connecting in with your communities, your groups, your friends? That's really, I know, Capricorn and Capricorn rising, that you tend to do a lot, and you're very productive. You make things happen. It's really incredible. I am so impressed with Capricorns, period, in general. And here you're also being invited to have some fun. Like, you're getting lightning bolted in your fun house right now. It's like, oh my gosh. Oh, I forgot. I'm invited to have fun also in this lifetime as a Capricorn rising. What does that look like? How can I do that? How can I bring in, even for 5 minutes, an element of fun? And again, for me, sometimes it's seriously like having a giant laughing fit at something I'm seeing, like a reel that I'm seeing on Instagram. And I will laugh and laugh and laugh, and it feels really good. I don't have any planets in Capricorn at all. And I feel like I am able to have fun. And sometimes I'm really in the black hole of despair, and I'm not. I'm not able to have fun. Capricorn rising, you're getting invited to have an interesting conversation of how do I want to step more into my own sense of worthiness and oh my gosh, what else? Is there like a piece of grass? There's like grass in my pants. It's like ants in my pants, but it's grass in my pants. It's not actually grass. You're having fresh new energy, Capricorn rising, with your what feels like home, and me nurturing myself, me as a mother, and me embodying mother energy for myself and others, and also my receiving nurturance. I'm as a Capricorn rising, Can I allow someone to actually care for me? What does that look like? Am I always the one in charge? Can I ever invite in, okay, I'm going to soften and receive? It might even be that I'm going to allow this person to give me a hand massage for 5 minutes. It could be that. If you are wondering, Capricorn rising, about, I wonder, do you have a connection with spirit? And if you do, you have a lot of support right now to create even more routine and structure around, I'm going to connect in with spirit the way I do it. Do I want to talk to spirit? Do I want to sit and meditate? Do I want to speak it out loud? With your third house in Pisces and Saturn is right there, you have this support of, I'm going to give you a system and a structure for you to connect in with the all that is through words. Your eighth house, Capricorn rising, is supported with energy for diving into deeper realms with Mars in Leo in your eighth house right now. So if you've been backing up and saying, oh, I don't have time to do that, I'm working too hard, maybe now you take the ram, which is the energy of Aries, the ram, Mars rules Aries, the energy of the ram by the horns. And you're like, okay, let me dive in for even one day into these parts of myself that I've been putting off because I say I'm too busy. And actually, when we leave our bodies, like the busyness doesn't, I don't know. I'm getting can there be for Capricorn rising, can there be also this, like, I'm backing up, getting more of an, as Pamela Gregory says, eagle's perch view of everything, so that maybe it's okay if it's not perfect. It's okay if you don't do whatever it is perfectly. How does that feel to you? Like allowing yourself to soften this really high standard that you have for yourself. What does that feel like to hear me say that? I'd love to hear from you, Capricorn rising. Now we have Aquarius and Aquarius rising. Oh my gosh, deader. This full moon for you is in your 10th house, Aquarius and Aquarius rising.
Okay.
And so you're getting invited to check in with yourself. Like, I know, and I also want to honor Aquarius and Aquarius rising, that you have Pluto in your sign. And I am imagining some of you are feeling that, like, in general. And depending on where your sun is, Pluto's stationed right now in your sign. So it could be like, oh my gosh, I feel like Pluto's staying at this degree and this minute for a very long time. Let me actually see when he starts to move while I'm here looking at the charts for you, Aquarius and Aquarius rising. Because so it's like, okay, I am Pluto and I'm just hanging out pretty much at 3 degrees, 47 minutes, 46 minutes, 45. He is slow. And he's still at 3 degrees all the way. Oh my gosh. So like and I know, so he's not even moving to 2 degrees until July. Oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah. So what this says to me till July 7th. So what this says to me, Aquarius and Aquarius rising, is there's a lot, it can feel like a lot of super stuck. I heard one of my Aquarian beloveds today said, like, molasses cement like feeling astrology going on. I want to say yes. Yes. So I want to honor that about being an Aquarian right now. And it also it can feel like with this astrology of the full moon, at the same time, you're being invited to what does it look like for me to be in my power in a way that, well, even though Aquarian energy tends to, like, a stereotype of it is, oh, I don't really care what other people think of me. And I don't really think that that's always true about Aquarius energy. However, you're being invited even more right now. What do I want to do? I'm going to do it with this Scorpio passion. people may see me. It's in the public eye. The full moon's in the public eye. And I'm going to invite myself to really release what other people think of me, to allow in this idea of what other people think of me is none of my business as an Aquarius, Aquarius rising. What would it be like for me to allow that in right now? And to also know that my home and hearth is getting an invitation to do big transformation, big change, and lightning bolts. And so there is, I know you might be experiencing something going on, Aquarius and Aquarius rising, of like, oh my gosh, I'm being invited to change even what it looks like to feel cozy and at home in my space. Maybe that's going through a transformation. Yeah, actually, yes. You do have a strong, fiery, passionate energy in your long-term relationship and contractual relationship area of your chart. So what that says to me is there could be a lot of excitement for soul contract relationships, Aquarius and Aquarius rising. Like, oh my gosh, I feel so thrilled to be in this friendship. I feel so thrilled to be in this partnership with you, whether it's a work partnership, whether it's a love relationship. It can feel like I have a lot of fire and passion for this. And I also want to simply invite, I want to honor Aquarius and Aquarius rising, that with Pluto in your sign, you are in an incredible alchemical container that is, you might be like, wait, I didn't really ask for this to happen. And your spirit and soul chose to come in with this astrology chart. And for me, actually, there is this invitation. Actually, yes, I did choose to come in with this astrology, and I'm going to invite myself to dive into the deepest realms while I also am remembering that I'm here to enjoy being incarnate. Both can be true at once. It's a both and. How did this land for you, Aquarius, Aquarius rising? Pisces and Pisces rising, this full moon for you is in your 9th house. You as the teacher, you going on journeys, you taking classes, you learning, your sense of justice, your sense of truth, your sense of this is like I am standing in my power as the authority here. Like I actually know I've grown in my wisdom. I've grown in my knowledge from this, having had Saturn in my sign as Pisces rising for the past 2.5 years. I am wiser now. I have more in my authority. I've perhaps been through some really intense stuff, which I know for me has happened. And so what is it like for you, Pisces rising, to also know that simply by existing, you are teaching others. You're teaching others to not necessarily stay in one form. Like it's okay for you to be mutable. It's okay for you to, here I am being in the presence of other people, and it's okay for you to shift and change. It's okay for you to be almost like a chimera. A chimera is something that's like ungraspable. And at the same time, with the planet Uranus, for Pisces rising, the planet Uranus is in your area of your chart that's around how you communicate and how your mind works. So it's like I am here knowing that I am supported, and I'm a Pisces sun. I am knowing I'm supported by Uranus to help wake up myself and others through the power of my communication, through the power of my voice. When I'm singing opera, when I'm speaking, can I remember that I am here to awaken, and I'm supported astrologically to do that. So if there's been some part of me being like, oh, don't ruffle feathers, Natalie, people aren't going to like that. I'm supported right now with this full moon to actually be like, okay, yeah, it's uncomfortable to ruffle feathers because as a Pisces rising, I feel all of the ruffled feathers. And I'm still going to invite myself to speak up and speak out. And maybe the speaking up and speaking out is simply in my holding myself like the queen that I am, or the king that you are, or the whatever royal being that you are. Like, okay, yes, My isness may be disconcerting for people, and I'm going to lean into the incredible multidimensionality, multi-prismatic being that I am as a Pisces rising, and I'm going to embrace that about myself and invite myself to release what others think I should be and not allow them to should on me. Instead, I'm going to invite myself to expand, expand, expand with Pluto in my 12th house right now into my power, connecting to the all that is. Yes. Yes, that feels good the way I just said that. Feels good to me as a Pisces. So I wonder how that all lands with you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, what I'd like to leave you as a grand finale here for all signs is this full moon is an invitation to dive more deeply into my alchemical realms, my ability to call in what I want to see happen. What is stopping me from doing that? What is stopping me, I'll speak for myself, from like writing down some visions for myself, like actually writing them down in earth. We have the sun in Taurus on a piece of paper. What is stopping me from doing that? What is stopping me from speaking out with a potency of a river that's flowing over a cliff for thousands and thousands of years with so much fluency that it finally reshapes the boulders that are at the bottom? That's the Scorpio energy. Then this full moon is there. What is stopping me from channeling that scorpionic energy to speak into existence what I would like to see happen in my life? What is holding me back? Can I harness, this is for all signs, can I harness the courage, Mars, which is the ancient ruler of Scorpio, and Pluto, the transformative, incredible, magical energy of death and resurrection? Can I channel those planets to bring this potency to myself and what I want to see happen in my life? Even saying all that, I will say it, like, I feel tired saying it all because for me, it's a lot of, I don't actually do that. And I'm curious about that. Why not, Natalie? Why not, oh, listener to Nadiya Shah's channel? What is stopping you from doing that? Or if you are doing it, what is it like? Does it feel supportive? I'm so grateful that you are here, that you stayed in your body, that you chose to incarnate. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for tuning into this full moon guidance video. I am thrilled to be with you, and I'm sending you so much love. And thank you, Nadiya Shah, for having me as a guest on your channel again. It is an honor and a privilege, and I do not take it for granted. Thank you so much.